He wants to sell the house. You want to stay put. Now what? By 2030, every baby boomer will be 65 or older. Wow, we're getting old. And for Gen X and boomers, retirement it's no longer a fuzzy someday, right? It's here. And with it comes one of the biggest relationship tests you may ever face. So what happens when your husband wants to move and you don't? So picture this. You're in the kitchen, maybe it's a Tuesday, nothing dramatic. Your husband looks up and says, I'm ready. Let's retire. Let's sell the house. Let's finally do what we always wanted to do. Maybe it's a farm with chickens. Maybe it's a cabin in the woods. Maybe it's off-grid living near the Oregon coast, or a beach bungalow. Or maybe it's a downtown condo where you can walk everywhere. Maybe it's a walkable town. He's lit up. He's energized. He's 25 again. But your stomach tightens because you love your neighborhood. Your friends are here. Your routines work. Your grandkids are here. And life runs like a well-oiled machine. You're thinking to yourself, why would I change things? Why would I blow this up? I'm happy here. And then you start to feel a little bit guilty, right? Because that was once your dream. That was the dream that you had together. So what's really going on here? So let's be honest here. For many of us in the Gen X and the Boomer generation, we worked hard for stability. We paid off the houses. We built community. We finally got to a place where things were settled. And now your husband wants to rock the boat. And listen, your objections are real. Okay, I'm not saying that your objections aren't valid because they are. And you may be thinking, I don't make friends easily. What if I don't fit in? What if the new place is disappointing? What if we regret it? What if it's just running away? But here's the truth. Most objections are not about geography. They're really about fear. It's the fear of losing identity, the fear of losing belonging, the fear of losing control. And fear is a really sneaky thing that creeps up on us, and it disguises itself as practicality. So, what do you do if your husband wants to move and you don't? I'm going to offer these 4 steps that I hope you'll consider. Number 1 is to face the fear directly. Instead of saying, this is a terrible idea, ask yourself, what exactly am I afraid of? Name it. Is it loneliness? Is it financial insecurity? Is it the embarrassment if it fails? Is it the distance from family? When you name the fear, it actually shrinks. And this is something powerful, and I think many of us know this already. Whatever you rehearse in your mind tends to expand. And if you repeatedly imagine disaster, that's exactly what our brain will gather evidence for. The more we think the worst, the more we're going to see the worst. But if we allow ourselves to imagine possibility, our brains will start doing that. And we will start gathering information about the possibilities of how this could be a positive experience. We'll start looking for opportunities. And it's really not denial. It's a discipline. It's something that we can discipline ourselves to think about in a positive way instead of in a negative way. Number 2, embrace change instead of resisting it. And we all know this because we've reinvented ourselves more than once. Industries have changed. Technology has exploded during our lifetime. Markets have crashed. Kids have grown up. We've had all sorts of challenges, but we've adapted. So ask yourself honestly, are you protecting something that still serves you, or is it just something that feels familiar? Because sometimes we outgrow a season of life, but we stay because it's comfortable. But that comfort isn't always growth. Number 3 is to achieve peace of mind through doing your research. And it doesn't make sense to relocate to a place that doesn't offer the experience that both you and your husband want to have. So, for example, if you want to retire and raise goats, you need to have a home with, a ranch store conveniently located near your home. You'll need to be able to provide food and whatever's necessary in raising goats. And we did run across a couple who had retired to Big Four and had some sort of a mushroom farm or something like that. So people do come up with a lot of different ideas of where they want to retire and how they're going to retire and what their dreams have always been and what they want to do. So, getting back to this topic, if you're looking for a particular type of recreation, that would be another thing as far as what you want to do recreationally. So, let's say if it's cycling, for instance, you would want to be looking to an area that is cyclable. What are the bike paths there? Um, no matter what it is, if you want to ski, anything that you might want to do recreationally, right? You want to make sure that you look for those things in the area that both of you are having interest in. And before you make a major decision, like relocating to another state, I want to give you some suggestions because we have moved to another state. And so I really have some ideas on how a person could approach this. You need to check out the demographics of the area. It's meaningless to go to a place if you don't check out the demographics, and you get there and you find out that the people are different and you really don't have anything in common with the people there. So check out the different demographics of the area, what things cost, what the people are like, politics, religion, all sorts of things like that. And then visit the region and stay there for a couple of weeks if you can. That's really important, I think, because when you stay there, you can chat with the locals, you can experience the area, just like you're living there. And you can check out some of the local cuisine, you can visit the grocery stores. And one thing that I have always found to be very helpful is to check out the vehicles in an area, because believe it or not, looking at the vehicles that people drive can actually tell you a lot about the area. For example, do they drive big trucks or do they drive Priuses? Okay, so think about those kind of things when you're looking around. And number 4 is to communicate like your marriage depends on it, because it actually does. Something like this is so major that you really want to communicate, communicate, communicate. So no silent treatment, no emotional blackmail, no fine, do whatever you want. Talk about what each of you is hoping to gain, what each of you might be afraid to lose, what would make the move feel safe. And unless your husband is a complete selfish ogre, he will also think of you when considering a move in retirement. He'll show interest in your concerns and working towards solutions that work for both of you. And I really hope your husband is a good man. I think that most husbands are good men that are really trying to work with their wives and please their wives. So this is not about winning. It's about designing your next chapter of life together. So I want to share something from my own personal experience. We moved after 31 years of marriage, and it was very stressful. Even though we had agreed where we wanted to move, it was a stressful experience getting all of our ducks in a row and selling the house and just, moving 2,500 miles across the country, as you can imagine, is a stressful event. And some of the adjustments for me after we arrived here were that the people seemed unfriendly. They just did not have the same hospitality that I was accustomed to in the South. And the food was lackluster. It really wasn't what I was used to. Um, the grocery stores didn't carry the same brands and products that I was accustomed to purchasing. And I think a big one for me was that in the winter, the sun just didn't shine for weeks on end. And I know David would say, well, the skies are not cloudy all day, but if you're somebody like me and you've got these days and weeks of cloudy skies in the winter, it can be really challenging. But you know what? I had growth from that because this is what I discovered. Most of the things that I was complaining about were simple inconveniences. They weren't big disasters. And I know, what the things that I've mentioned could sound trivial compared to your concerns, but I discovered some things by keeping an open mind. I learned that the friendliness in the area was just different. It was regionally different. It wasn't that the people were actually unfriendly. They were friendly. They just had a different way of showing it. And I have come to really appreciate that this is a sense of individual privacy that people have for others. They're friendly, they're helpful, but they're just not as chatty in the grocery line as what I was accustomed to. I did find new brands to work with. And as far as winter goes, I really have come to appreciate spring because if it were not for winter, and the change of season and the way spring comes in, I just wouldn't, have had that experience because I didn't come from a place that had four distinct seasons. And now I live in one that does. So winters can sometimes be cold and brutal, but it does help me to appreciate the next season. So I'm telling you all this, and the point is not that you have to move. It's not that you must move, but the point is to not let the fear make the decision for you. If after honest reflection and research and communication, you still feel deeply rooted where you are, that matters. It really, really does matter. But if your resistance is coming from the fear of the unknown, please ask yourself, at this stage of life, do I want comfort or expansion? Sound off in the comments if your husband wants to retire and move and you don't. Here's a related video you'll find helpful: retirement resentment, how compromise fails. Please check out the other videos on my channel for tips on how to retire earlier, why it's a super smart strategy to claim Social Security benefits at 62, health and relationship topics, and so much more. And please visit our website, rebelretirement.com, for all kinds of retirement articles. And you'll also find information on just-in-time retirement, a value-based retirement plan where you eliminate waste to free up resources to fund your retirement. And it's all free, you guys, so please check it out. Thanks for watching. I'm Marlene with Rebel Retirement. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you next time. And the wind is whipping outside right now. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but it's really rocking the house, and I'm not sure if the microphone is picking that up.